Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description.
The final night. The letter's magic, a message of rebirth. The letter sat untouched on the table, its edges glowing with a soft, ethereal blue light. McKoy, for just a little while longer, felt its pull. She hesitated, her fingers hovering above the parchment. Then, as though sensing her readiness, the letter pulsed, the words shifting, reshaping, forming a message written by magic itself. The air tingled with energy, and Kate instinctively reached out, taking McKayla's hand. Together, they read, "Rebirth is never easy. Not for the body, not for the mind. You have endured agony beyond human comprehension, but pain was the price of your creation. The fire that burned through your flesh did not seek to destroy you. It sought to refine you, to forge you into what you were always meant to be. Every cell, every nerve, every moment of suffering was a step toward completion, toward perfection, toward your final form. Now, in these last 16 hours, your body will finish its work. The remnants of what once was will disappear, and the truth of what is will remain. You must watch. You must feel. You must understand. Only then will you be ready to accept yourself. Only then will you be whole." McKayla shuddered, her breath coming in shaky gasps. Kate's grip tightened around her fingers, grounding her. The letter had spoken the truth. She had suffered. She had burned. And now she would watch herself be reborn. The final transformations, the last 16 hours. The first hour was subtle. McKayla's lower body ached, a deep, stretching sensation, as though her very core was shifting, adjusting, finalizing its purpose. Kate watched in silent awe, her eyes locked on McKayla's form as her pelvis widened slightly, the last bit of restructuring taking place. McKayla gritted her teeth, gasping as the last traces of her former self melted away. Her hips fully settled into their ideal proportions, her thighs subtly reshaping, her legs smoothing, their strength and tone sculpted perfectly. The changes were undeniable now. Every hour that passed, she was becoming more female, more herself. The third hour was when the transformation became impossible to ignore. McKayla clutched Kate's arm as a deep pressure built between her legs, an undeniable pulse of magic working its final adjustments. Her breathing quickened, her eyes wide, as she felt it reshape fully. The last vestiges of her former anatomy faded into nothing, leaving behind only the idealized, perfected female form. Kate's hand hovered over her lower stomach as if she, too, could feel what had happened. McKayla's stomach clenched, a sharp pang of emotion striking her chest. It was real now. It was done. There was nothing left of McCoy. And yet, she wasn't afraid. She was something new. Something more. By the 7th hour, the transformation reached its final stages. McKayla lifted her hands, watching as the fingers lengthened slightly, the last hints of their former shape fading into something delicate, elegant. Her palms softened, her wrists narrowing, her nails taking on a natural feminine curve. She flexed her fingers, marveling at how they moved differently now, how even the smallest parts of her had changed completely. Her feet throbbed, her toes curling as the bone structure realigned, adjusting to her new proportions. And in her mind, something clicked. Thoughts that had felt fragmented, unsure suddenly became clear, fluid, feminine. The last traces of McCoy's mind faded into memory. And McKayla Harrison was all that remained. The final hour, the end of the transformation. A warm pulse spread through her chest. A feeling of completion, of finality, of truth. And then, the enchanted clothing shivered against her skin. A second later, it began to fall apart. The corset loosened on its own, the laces unraveling. The high-performance undergarments dissolved, vanishing like mist. The sports bra, the silk panties, all of them crumbled into dust, disintegrating into a pile of gray ash on the floor. McKayla stared at the remains, her chest rising and falling in quiet acceptance. It was over. She was fully formed now. She was whole. Kate reached out, brushing her fingers along McKayla's cheek. "You did it," she whispered. McKayla swallowed, her voice soft but steady. "We did." The letter's final instructions. The parchment pulsed one last time, the blue glow intensifying before revealing its final message. "Your transformation is complete. McCoy Harrison no longer exists. To stabilize your form and ensure full integration, you must follow these final steps. 1. Take a full shower. Let the last remnants of your past self wash away. 2. Eat a high-protein meal. Your body must be strengthened for the challenges ahead. 3. Sleep for at least 8 hours. Allow your mind to rest and fully adapt. When you wake, McKayla will be all that remains." Stepping into the future. McKayla turned to Kate. Kate said nothing, only taking McKayla's hand and leading her forward. Into the shower. Into her new life. For the first time in 3 days, they stood together beneath the warm stream of water, the final step in cleansing away the past. Kate's hands moved over McKayla's new form, neither questioning nor hesitating. McKayla leaned into her, letting the warmth of the moment settle deep within her bones. She was here now. She was real. And she wasn't alone. The first meal as McKayla. They sat at the kitchen table, the quiet hum of the night filling the space between them. McKayla ate slowly, following the letter's instructions, her body adjusting, her strength returning with every bite. Kate watched her, a soft, unreadable expression in her eyes. McKayla set her fork down. "What is it?" she asked. Kate smiled. I love you." McKayla's breath caught, not at the words, but at the way they sounded now, as if they had taken on a new meaning, a new depth. As if, somehow, Kate loved her even more now. McKayla smiled back, reaching for her hand. "I love you too." McKayla's first breath. The first breath of a new life. McKayla's first breath was slow, deep, steady. Her body felt lighter, different, yet whole, as if every part of her had finally settled into place. She had slept for 8 hours straight, the first truly restful sleep in days. Her mind, once filled with confusion and turmoil, felt clearer than ever. Kate sat beside her on the bed, watching her wake up, a soft smile playing on her lips. "Morning," Kate whispered. McKayla blinked, inhaling deeply again, feeling her chest rise and fall in a way that still felt new, yet natural. "Morning," she said back, her voice soft, feminine, truly hers. And for the first time, she didn't hesitate saying it. The first steps of the day. Kate reached out, brushing a strand of long, silky hair from McKayla's face. "How do you feel?" McKayla stretched slightly, adjusting to the way her body moved, the way her hips felt when she shifted, the way her balance had changed completely. "Better," she admitted. "Still adjusting, but better." Kate grinned. "That's a good start." She stood up, offering a hand. "Come on, first things first, shower, breakfast, and then the fun part." McKayla took her hand, standing slowly, feeling the strength in her legs, the new curves of her form, the way she instinctively carried herself differently. Everything was different now. And yet, it felt like she was finally stepping into who she was meant to be. The first shower as herself. The hot water ran over her skin, washing away the last remnants of uncertainty. She traced her fingers over her new form, her waist, her hips, her toned yet feminine muscles, learning the shape of herself all over again. Kate stood beside her, silent but present, giving McKayla the space to breathe, to accept, to process. It wasn't just a shower. It was a moment of rebirth. When McKayla stepped out, drying herself off and catching her own reflection in the mirror, she didn't flinch. She didn't hesitate. She looked, truly looked, at the woman staring back at her and accepted what she saw. The first meal together. The kitchen smelled of fresh coffee, eggs, and toast. McKayla sat at the table, her posture naturally different, her movements subtly more fluid. Kate placed a plate in front of her. "Eat up. You're gonna need energy." McKayla raised an eyebrow. "For what?" Kate smirked. "Shopping." McKayla groaned, laughing despite herself. Right. A new wardrobe. Unless you want to walk around in a robe all day. McKayla sighed but smiled. Fair point. She took a bite of her breakfast, feeling her body fully energized, strong, and ready. The first test of womanhood, a shopping trip like no other. Walking into the store, McKayla felt her first true test as a woman, the eyes of men on her. It wasn't just a glance. It was attention. Unwanted, unavoidable attention. She shifted uncomfortably, her posture stiffening, her awareness of herself skyrocketing. Kate noticed instantly. Breathe, she whispered. You've got this. McKayla exhaled slowly, nodding. They walked through the aisles, picking out everything she needed, casual wear, athletic gear, everyday outfits. But when they reached the lingerie section, her stomach twisted. Kate picked up a set, holding it against McKayla's frame. This will fit you perfectly. McKayla swallowed hard. She wasn't just shopping for clothes. She was shopping for her life, for her identity, for the version of herself that she was now fully stepping into. And then, it hit her. She used to do this. She used to be one of those men, the kind that stared at women like this, making them feel exactly how she felt now. A sharp realization cut through her, a deep moment of self-awareness. She had never truly understood what it felt like to be looked at this way, until now. She had become what she once didn't understand. And that, more than anything, solidified her transformation. Returning home, the real journey begins. They carried the bags inside, setting them down as McKayla exhaled, rubbing her temples. Kate grinned. Survived your first shopping trip? McKayla smirked. Barely. Kate nudged her. Well, now comes the real fun. McKayla raised an eyebrow. Which is? Kate leaned against the table. Learning how to be a woman. McKayla blinked, then groaned. Oh no. Kate laughed. Oh yes. She held up a makeup kit, a brush, and a set of styling tools. Lesson 1. Let's make you look like the woman you are. McKayla stared at the items, her heart pounding in anticipation and nervous excitement. Her journey wasn't over. It was just beginning.
Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.